Well, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Subcommittee on Transportation and Public Assets, Subcommittee of the Government Oversight and Reform Committee, and welcome them to a hearing today that is entitled "The Status of Toll Interoperability." While we don't have the crowd we had yesterday on Planned Parenthood, or I've been here through Whitewater and Travelgate and other hearings. I'm very pleased that we do have the witnesses that we have and those who are attending, because this is one of our meat and potato hearings. All the hearings in this committee are not blockbusters, but many of them are very important and achieve some important things for the American people, and our focus today, again, is on the status of toll interoperability. The order of business is I'm going to open with an opening statement. I'll yield to Mr. Boyle, who's serving as our ranking member, and any other members will have at least 10 legislative days to submit a statement for the record without objection, so ordered. So we may be joined by others, and we'll be having votes, so we want to keep this moving. Then we'll hear from our witnesses, and I welcome them again. And then after we hear from all four of our witnesses today, we'll go to questions. So it won't be a long hearing. It won't be too brutal for our witnesses. In fact, I think it's one of those that everybody can come away with and see something positive as a result. So with that, I'll start with my opening statement. And it's pretty exciting for me. I had chaired the Transportation Committee, been on the Transportation Committee for some more than 2 decades, honored to have leadership positions. Worked on the last transportation bill, which we did pass. They, I think, today are seeing the struggle and difficulty of passing major bills. Our bill turned out, because of funding, to be a 2.25-year bill. So it wasn't a long term. It didn't have a huge amount of financing, but it kept us moving, and that's the legislation we're working under today. Within that legislation were a number of policy changes. And I have to tell a quick story about how this particular provision, and I put in the bill a provision that within a certain amount of time, and that time will lapse by October of 2016, all of the toll passes, electronic devices that are used to access tolls throughout the country, would be interoperable. It came about as a result of an incident. I've been married for 43 years and in Congress for 23. And most of the 23 years in Congress, at Thanksgiving, I leave Washington, I go up I-95, and my mother-in-law, who passed away a couple of years ago, my wife and I would visit her for Thanksgiving or the holidays. And with me, I'd take my little pass, and I put it in my, from home, and I put it in my briefcase. And when I got to the tollway, lo and behold, it didn't work. So it was prior to starting this legislation, and I called the staff and I said, well, maybe this is my mother-in-law provision, but when we do the bill, let's see if we can put a provision in. First, we talked to folks and said, are they capable of producing an interoperable system and device, and is it technically feasible? And the answer was yes. And then the next thing was, how long would it take? And we thought we'd give adequate time, and we'd get about a little more than 3 years, and then some to get this in place. But it is, from a technical standpoint, possible, and a reasonable amount of time is moving forward. Now, it's a year from now when this bill kicks in. I will announce today that I will be providing some legislation which will be an incentive to make certain that this happens. Some of those in the industry may not like the incentive, but there will be a toll to pay if we don't, if you aren't participating in this. I'm not going to give you all the details, but there will be a toll and price to pay. I just want to have a little motivator to make certain the provision is moving forward. And let me say at the outset that the industry has been great. They've come together. With the announcement of this hearing, Mr. Boyle, we've already accomplished some things. Some parties who couldn't quite agree, I think, on some issues have come together just most recently, even since the announcement of this hearing. And we continue to hope to hear that and see that spirit of cooperation and getting what we hope achieved. So the most important thing, it's in our era, why should we have, this is just a sampling of the passes here, all the passes. Now these are the big ones and the other size ones. We've got all kinds of passes here, dozens of passes, electronic passes. And now the passes are actually getting a lot smaller. Here's some of them, little pieces. But our goal is to make it convenient. Our goal is to move traffic on our congested interstates and our toll roads faster and accommodate people and not have the backup, not have the congestion they've experienced. So the driver does not have to stop. It's safer, again, and I think it'll be a boon to everyone. Each year, more than $13 billion is generated in electronic toll collection revenue, and it serves some 45 million customers. And I think the more convenient, the more people will use the system. The Alliance for Toll Interoperability has made some very good efforts to identify business rules for exchanging and settling these transactions, and I think we can get even further, and you will, and we'll work with you. The with national interoperability, there must be regional interoperability as well. The committee has learned that Florida, my state, has taken a lead, and we've seen some great combination already. Some of the southern states and other states have already banded together, and regions, and you can use the same pass and go. And I'm very pleased to announce today, and we'll hear hopefully some more specifics about this. Now listen to this. With this pass here, I'll just use this one. We don't want to give anybody too much credit here, but with this pass, we're very close to reaching an agreement. And listen to this, Mr. Boyle, since you told me you drove from Maine to Florida.
Not quite Maine, but Boston all the way.
Darn near close. You step across the way. But you will be able to go down 95 from Maine to Florida, my state, up to your area in the Northeast with one pass. And that's a result of progress that's been made just in the last few days. So I compliment you on that. I want to hear more about that. And then we want the date when folks can do that. So that's pretty exciting news. You probably won't be using this one. You'll probably be using one of these little stickers, but we'll hear more about that. So I believe that this is a very we've made some very positive steps towards achieving interoperability, while tolling is an essential tool to supplement revenues for transportation infrastructure. And as you may know, also in the last bill, we have started a whole bunch of projects. I have a $2.4 billion one in Central Florida. We have enough money to improve our road, our interstate through Central Florida, but we don't have enough money to expand it through the public-private partnership under construction now, and it is one hell of a mess already. We have through 20 miles of downtown Orlando underway, not planned, but underway, the construction of additional 4 additional lanes. And this will also be operated under a toll system. I've mandated in the legislation all free lanes stay free but we could use additional existing right-of-way inside median and other assets that sit there idly towards expanding capacity, having a way to pay it down, and having a way to construct it and adding, again, capacity. And that frees up the free lane so people who can't pay can go faster, and people who want to pay can help build, pay for, and pay down the cost of that improvement. Tech startups are currently developing tolling solutions with a smartphone. This is I believe this will probably be one of the next ways that we will be paying not only for tolls, but for many other things. Some people have already seen it. That's very innovative, but this is coming next. I'm also using this and other technology from this as a way to read in real time the flow of traffic, and very cost effectively in real time change the signalization and allow cars to flow faster, and also more cars to be used in the same amount of capacity, but getting people where they want to go. So these two devices, again, this is almost passé, but will help us also electronically and technically move vehicles and traffic faster. So the future, we'll see cars talking to each other. I had a rental car this weekend. It talked to me. I got a little over in the wrong lane. It sure as hell woke me up, and I got a little too close to the car in front of me, and it sure as heck did have a conversation with me. In fact, I thought I'd done something really wrong. But we're on the verge of some incredible technology breakthroughs, and you all today are part of one that'll make a big difference nationally. We must be able to allow for a bridge to that environment as new technologies come to light, while remaining cognizant of consumer privacy. That privacy is a very important element. So this afternoon, I look forward to hearing your testimony. Pretty exciting to see something you proposed finally coming into fruition and reality. And I thank each and every one of you for being here. We look forward to working with you. I'm pleased to also finally ask unanimous consent that the testimony from Florida's Turnpike Enterprise and Easy Pass are entered into the record. They submitted that to me without objection, so ordered, and of course we'll take any other requests in a similar matter. With that, Mr. Boyle, welcome and thank you. You're recognized.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank all of you who are gathered. And as Chairman pointed out in the beginning, as we were both here yesterday, there might have been one or two more people at that hearing than this one. And while this issue might not have the sexiness of some others, actually this is critically important. This is the real work of Congress and our government, and this is the kind of thing that goes on behind the scenes, doesn't get as much attention, but I suspect will actually have a longer lasting impact. As Chairman Mica was mentioning, I'm from Pennsylvania. I have driven almost every mile of I-95. I can say that from about New Hampshire to where I-95 ends, just south of Miami, and about 4 or 5 times I've driven it from Philadelphia down to Florida. So I happen to be a big fan of Easy Pass. I'm so glad that in the Northeast, when I drive, even on the frequent trip that I make from Philadelphia to Washington, that I'm able to come here despite going through Delaware and Maryland and sometimes over into Virginia. The fact that one system works for that. Likewise, going east-west, as many people from Pennsylvania do, on the Turnpike and the Jersey Shore, we have interoperability. Now the question is, how do we do this as a country, as the United States? It was said, and PBS recently rebroadcast the 25th anniversary of their landmark Ken Burns documentary, The Civil War. And it's been said that the Civil War changed the verbiage we use. Before the Civil War, the United States was said as a plural. After the Civil War, the United States was said as a singular. Well, I think part of further strengthening that is the interstate system. And I think that one of the great achievements of President Eisenhower was the interstate system and making sure that we have interoperability on our electric tolling is part of that. Now, I will read an opening statement for the record to get into the more the nitty-gritty, but please accept my thanks and appreciation for being here. Highways remain the primary method of transportation in this nation. According to the Census Bureau, highway mileage in the U.S. exceeded 4 million miles in 2009, including more than 46,000 interstate miles. According to Federal Highway Administration, just under 6,000 miles of highway and bridge facilities in the U.S. are tolled, and the majority of states now have a tolled facility of some kind. Most toll facilities now utilize some type of electronic collection system. I would add as a quick aside, some states, including Pennsylvania, I know are experimenting with strictly electronic tolling and no longer an option for any other method of payment. As a result of their individualized development, many toll authorities use transponder systems that are unique to them and not compatible with other systems. The MAP 21 legislation that Chairman Mica helped write requires that toll systems on Federal highways, and I quote, implement technologies or business practices that provide for the interoperability of electronic toll collection programs by next year. Right now, groups in industry, as has been mentioned, are working on two different but complementary approaches to achieve interoperability. One group, led by the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association, is working to develop a national toll protocol, meaning in plain terms a transponder system that could be utilized at all toll facilities in the nation. Under this scenario, a single transponder system would be identified at all toll systems, would ultimately adopt this system or utilize roadside equipment that could read the national transponder as well as their own unique transponder. There are already several regions of the country in which local toll facilities have adopted an interoperable electronic toll collection system. The largest of these regional groups, as I mentioned previously, is E-ZPass, whose membership encompasses 15 states and 26 separate toll authorities and systems, including the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission. In 2014, there were nearly 17 million E-ZPass accounts and more than 28 million E-ZPass transponders in use, including 2 in the Boyle household. According to E-ZPass's website, the E-ZPass toll system collects more than $10 billion in annual revenue, including $7.8 billion collected electronically and more than $3 billion transferred among participating agencies as drivers move through tolled facilities in states other than their home state. The E-ZPass system clearly demonstrates the advantages that could result from the creation of a single national transponder system. A separate effort is underway that seeks to stitch together the so-called back-office operations of toll authorities. The objective of this effort, which is being led by the Alliance for Toll Interoperability, is to enable systems to exchange information on toll system usage by their various account holders so that fares, and presumably fines, can be exchanged among the systems. This would achieve a form of interoperability that would not entail the use of a single national transponder system. Certainly, while both efforts offer great promise to improve mobility in our nation, each also understandably raises significant data security and privacy concerns. For example, toll systems will have data on a vehicle's registration and travel history, and they will have the credit card information associated with the driver's account. I am concerned to know what data standards are in place to protect this data as it is stored, and especially if it is shared among tolling entities. So I look forward to examining these issues in more detail today, and I thank very much the Chairman for calling this hearing and his good work on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle. And other members, Mr. Grotham, okay. Our Vice Chairman, Ms. Watson-Cole, did you want to make a comment or statement now?
Well, thank you, Chairman. I just want to say that I thank you for calling this subcommittee meeting to order here and giving us this opportunity to examine an issue that is very important that we kind of take for granted. It may not be on that, the theatrics and drama of other issues, but it impacts our quality of life. And I very much am a fan of Easy Pass. I use it to get back and forth from New Jersey to D.C. all the time, and I like not standing in line waiting to throw my coins into the receptacle. But I also recognize that the movement of our traffic without having to stand in line is good for our climate and our environment. So I am very interested in hearing what your perspectives and our various roles and how Congress can and should help. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And we have left the record open, and furthermore, without objection, the chair is authorized to declare recess at any time. And with that, I would like to now recognize and again welcome our witnesses. I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Jeffrey Lindley, Associate Administrator of the Office of Operations at the Federal Highway Administration, the Department of Transportation. Mr. Patrick Jones, Executive Director and CEO of the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association. Mr. James Eden, and he is President of the Alliance for Toll Interoperability. And Mr. Thomas Knuckley, who is the Tolls Technology Sector Manager at Atkins Global. Mr. Knuckley is testifying today as a volunteer member of the International Bridge and Tunnel Association's Interoperability Steering Committee and is chair of that organization's Roadside Operations Subcommittee. Welcome all. According to our committee rules, we're going to now, this is an Investigations and Oversight Subcommittee and Committee. If you'd stand and be sworn. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth before the subcommittee of Congress? I'll let the record reflect that all of the witnesses answered in the affirmative. And again, we welcome you. I'm not sure if one or two faces look familiar. We limit the time to 5 minutes for a statement, and we'll go through. You can also have additional information data submitted to the record with a request, and that'll be made part of the record. I'd like to get you to summarize, and then we'll go through the panel and ask questions. So again, welcome, and let me recognize first Mr. Jeffrey Lindley, and he's again the Associate Administrator, Office of Operations at the Federal Highway Administration. Welcome back, and you're recognized, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon. Chairman Mica, Ranking Member Boyle, thank you for inviting me here today to discuss the MAP 21 provision regarding electronic toll collection, or ETC, interoperability. I'm pleased to highlight FHWA's efforts for you today, as well as the progress we've seen the toll industry make toward implementation of the MAP 21 requirement. Achieving national interoperability of ETC systems is an important issue that affects motorists who travel frequently between regions, such as long-distance truckers, and people living in close proximity to two or more regions that use different ETC approaches. These users must maintain multiple ETC accounts and transponders or use other methods of payment, which are often more expensive and can create congestion at toll collection points. Although these users represent a fraction of the tens of millions of total ETC users, nationwide ETC interoperability would allow users to drive anywhere in the country without having to establish multiple accounts with ETC agencies or carry multiple tags. Prior to the passage of MAP 21, FHWA implemented a toll interoperability provision under Safety Lieu. We issued a final rule in 2009, and although we could not establish a national standard at that time, the rule required agencies to consider regional interoperability in developing their toll collection systems, which helped accelerate progress toward nationwide interoperability. The Easy Pass group provides a good example of regional interoperability. This consortium of 26 toll agencies in 15 states has millions of interoperable devices in circulation and accounts for a significant portion of all toll transactions in the U.S. With regard to implementing the MAP 21 provision, while FHWA believes that a solution identified and developed within the tolling industry presents the best opportunity for achieving nationwide interoperability, we are committed to helping implement the requirement and have engaged with the tolling industry on a regular basis. FHWA meets regularly with IBTTA. In addition, we've met with ETC equipment manufacturers and back-office operating agencies. We monitor developments within the tolling industry and communicate with IBTTA and equipment manufacturers to review implementation progress and identify actions that would help facilitate interoperability. As other panelists today can attest, this industry-led approach is yielding progress. For example, more tolling agencies are moving to all-electronic tolling, where tolls for users without a recognized tag are collected through license plate recognition and billing. IBTTA has developed a strategic plan and developed an open communications protocol based on the data requirements of current ETC transponder tags. This approach involves selecting a national transponder protocol that toll agencies could offer to their users who desire interregional or national interoperability while continuing to offer a traditional local or regional ETC transponder. The toll agencies would agree to read the national transponder and process interoperable transactions. Through equipment attrition, toll agencies would eventually transition to only national transponder tags. Last year, the IBTTA Board of Directors adopted this protocol and recommended that all toll agencies make the protocol available to any customer who desires national interoperability. IBTTA's efforts have also revealed the need for real-world testing of the protocol to ensure it could coexist with current transponders and to allow a gradual migration to a single protocol. For more near-term interoperability, the Alliance for Toll Interoperability has established a hub pilot program that allows the exchange of toll transaction information among enrolled toll agencies, providing interoperability to users. Toll facilities in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida now accept each other's tags. Likewise, toll facilities in Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas accept each other's tags. These are examples of agencies with different ETC protocols cooperating to offer users interoperability through advanced roadside readers and coordinated back-office billing processes. Finally, one ETC tag vendor recently introduced a tag that allows a user to establish an account with the vendor that will provide interoperability among the nation's major ETC systems. The tag vendor establishes accounts with each system and handles the billing for the individual user, issuing a single statement for the tolls plus an administrative fee. An important aspect of this is now the availability of a North Carolina tag that offers interoperability with Georgia, Florida, and the Easy Pass facilities, which creates full East Coast interoperability for users who need it. Mr. Chairman, thank you again for the invitation to appear here today on behalf of FHWA. This concludes my remarks, and I would be happy to answer your questions when the time comes.
Thank you, Mr. Lindley. And we'll get back to you with questions. Right now, I'm going to recognize Mr. Jones, who's Executive Director and CEO of the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association. Welcome, sir, and you're recognized.
Chairman Mica, Ranking Member Boyle, and members of the subcommittee. My name is Patrick Jones. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association. I'm honored to be here today. IBTTA is the worldwide association for the owners and operators of toll facilities and the businesses that provide products and services to the industry. Our mission is to advance transportation solutions through tolling. Founded in 1932, IBTTA has more than 60 toll agency members in the United States and hundreds more in 20 countries on 6 continents. We commend you, Chairman Mica, for your work on this committee and for your leadership and vision on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. At the very outset, I want to acknowledge my industry colleagues on this panel. J.J. Eden with the Alliance for Toll Interoperability, Tom Nucky, representing the Roadside Operations Subcommittee of IBTTA's Interoperability Steering Committee. Not on this panel, but with us in spirit and actively, extremely active in this process, Dave Christic of the E-470 Public Highway Authority, who is chair of our Interoperability Steering Committee. P.J. Wilkins of the Easy Pass Group, the largest multi-state region of electronic toll interoperability in the world, who submitted testimony for the record, seated here in the gallery. Diane Scicchetti, CEO of Florida's Turnpike Enterprise, who also submitted testimony for the record, the Interoperability Steering Committee, the Board of Directors of IBTTA, and all the members and staff of IBTTA. Without their collective efforts, we would not be where we are today. IBTTA and its members are absolutely committed to the MAP 21 goal of achieving nationwide interoperability of electronic toll collection programs. We established the Interoperability Steering Committee in 2010 to focus on the tasks needed to achieve nationwide interoperability. We have a simple vision: create a nationwide system of ETC interoperability in which any individual customer who chooses to do so may drive on any North American toll facility using a nationally interoperable transponder that is easy for the customer to use and cost-effective for the toll agencies. That transponder will have an open, non-proprietary protocol. We recognize that MAP 21 set a deadline for nationwide interoperability, not later than 4 years after the date of enactment of this Act. In fact, that deadline has been a catalyst to our industry, spurring tremendous activity that might not have been present without such a deadline. Getting there by 2016 is very ambitious, and it will probably take a bit longer for the industry to cross the finish line. Having said that, we've made huge progress. We've done our best to engage the entire North American tolling industry in the interoperability process led by the Steering Committee. We've created the National Interoperability Protocol Requirements document, a consensus document representing the views of virtually all North American toll agencies, that outlines all of the performance requirements and features that must reside in the National Toll Protocol. We've created business rules for nationwide interoperability that describe in nearly every way how toll agencies will work together to clear financial transactions. Both the requirements document and the business rules have been adopted by the IBTTA Board of Directors. We've created a special panel to review and evaluate candidate protocols for conformance to the requirements document. We have retained a certifying body to oversee the testing and certification of the ETC protocols that are candidates to become the national protocol. And we've committed $250,000 to pay for the first phase of this testing. All of this has been accomplished with a workforce consisting of hundreds of industry volunteers who have donated their time and energy to get this right. Once again, I'm pleased and honored to be here today, and I look forward to responding to your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. And we'll go now to Mr. Eden, President of the Alliance for Toll Interoperability.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman and distinguished members of the committee. I am pleased to join this distinguished panel to discuss an issue of concern of Congress, the public, the transportation industry, and especially the toll community. My name is James Eden, and I'm Vice President and Director of Tolling and Managed Lanes for AECOM. But today I'm here as the President of the Alliance for Toll Interoperability, or ATI, and as a volunteer for ATI, my statements and views represent my own opinions and that of ATI and are not of my employer, AECOM. ATI was established in 2008 in a meeting with representatives from Texas, Florida, and North Carolina as a not-for-profit 501c6 membership organization, focusing solely on toll interoperability, and has been an integral part in advancing national interoperability effort ever since. ATI was created and is wholly owned and governed by public toll agencies. It's currently comprised of 38 full and affiliate members spanning the United States and Canada. ATI funding is derived primarily from annual dues of $2,500 a year, but early on, ATI developed a plan to address several issues. The number one was the rapidly expanding highway speed toll deployments, or ETC deployments, that did not have a cash option. ATI decided to focus on developing a customer service solution, or hub, ATI developed a multi-tiered timeline designed to meet customer expectations as systems were deployed and converted to all-electronic toll collection. The hub was to be launched in phases. During Phase 1, the hub is capable of matching license plates from vehicles traveling in one state to valid accounts held in another state. This system does not include any personal information, as all data and personal information will continue to reside in existing toll agencies with the opt-in registration. We deployed the license plate hub first to provide the needed interoperability for AET systems with current camera technology. However, we plan on deploying a transponder-based hub by October of 2016 that will allow agencies to have multi-protocol readers exchange data and fares. Some of ATI's other accomplishments to date are: we held a video shootout to bring missing advanced technology to the toll industry that had obsolete toll camera technology. The hub was publicly bid and awarded to secure interagency flow in September of 2013. The hub is scheduled to go live between Illinois and Florida in November of 2015. ATI established a committee between AMVA, EasyPass, other DMVs, and an ATI working group and IBTTA to develop a reciprocity template in 2012. This will allow toll regions, states, and others to adopt a uniform approach to handling toll violations across state lines. We worked in concert with region interoperability solutions to achieve these goals. However, the costs to participate in interoperability are significant, and the business case may be lacking for some agencies. Recognizing this, ATI is working on a change order with our vendors. In the process, we will enable toll agencies to operate for 1 year, with the only cost being that of transactions that are matched. It is anticipated that the period will show the value to the participants and encourage them to continue ongoing members and support interoperability. As participation in the ATI hub over the next few months is critical in order to hold our contracts with our technology vendors. In summary, ATI has successfully developed a data network contractual structure to enable toll operators in North America to be interoperable through their customer service centers. The ATI Hub initiative is complementary to the efforts of IBTTA and the National Interoperability Committee. The industry at large has responded with action effort to the MAP 21 legislation, and I personally applaud this committee, Congressman Micah, for drawing attention to this issue. And as a side, it's not as easy as it looks. I was one of the founders of EasyPass back when we did it, and it looks easy from the outset, but it was a rough road ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eden. Thank you for your testimony and also for your leadership on this issue. We have less than 3 minutes to go to a vote. Welcome, Ms. Duckworth, our ranking member. Mr. Boyle did a great job. He even read an excellent statement into the record. Did you want to comment for us? Second?
Not at this time.
Okay. But what we'll do, rather than short Mr. Nucky in your testimony, we will recess until 3:15, and we'll reconvene. You all could relax for a few minutes. You don't have to stay there. Just be back here at 3:15. We'll reconvene, hear from that witness, and then we'll go to questions. So we'll stand in recess till then. Thank you.